Welcome to Lupo's Kitchen. Today we are making tacos. And we're going to show you a way to make tacos without using any oil, and it's delicious. This is one of our main go-tos, and you can adjust this and add stuff and take stuff out the way you like. But you're going to get a good idea how we do the base and make it your own. So we've adjusted this recipe many times, and we even had an old video up of one when we were still eating like the fake meat stuffs, the Gardein. We used the Gardein crumbles and used to put it in, and it tasted just like real taco. It was pretty impressive, but the healthier version is to leave that stuff out. So I'm going to show you the healthier version because we don't do that anymore. But basically, you're going to take different cans of what you like, but the main base is going to be black beans. So we have two, and we did not drain them. We throw corn in, it kind of bumps it up, and a can of chickpeas. But we do keep the aquafaba and drain the chickpeas. The other thing is for the meat substance is usually chopped mushrooms. Now, that gives it more of a meaty taco taste. Lorelei actually cooked these ahead of time because our kid doesn't like too much mushroom. So we'll just add this in as we go. On a side note about the mushrooms, the way Lorelei does this is she takes her time and really cooks these things down in liquid aminos. They are delicious. We use them on pizzas, we use them on rice.
Oh, those I use coconut aminos.
Coconut aminos, man, they're good.
They're so good.
But you just go a slow cook until they almost burn. They are delicious.
You just cook them down and cook them down and cook them down until they go almost dry.
So normally, if you want to skip this, if your whole family eats mushrooms, you dice them up and just throw them into the mix, and they will cook while they're going. But this is kind of two steps doing it this way.
All right.
If you have a dog, she'll help out, guarantee it. Our dog is part Mexican, loves the tacos.
She is waiting for the chickpeas to fall.
Oh, she likes the chickpeas, yeah.
Ready?
Oh, yeah. Oh, good catch. On camera, nice shot.
2 cans of black beans, and these are not drained or rinsed. We use the liquid as the water that you add in the taco mix.
Yeah, a lot of people forget that a bunch of the nutrition's in the liquid. So if we cook it down, you're actually getting a lot more of the benefits of the beans. So don't drain these ones. That's not so much with the corn water. There's not a lot that's in there.
The corn water doesn't really have any.
But that black bean
bonus.
juice is full of nutrients.
And we use this wok for almost everything, just because it cooks really evenly and it's easy. And it's tall.
So let's talk about this wok, because I forgot to say that, a lot of people have, you're going to need a good nonstick pan, just like if you've watched any of our recipes, good nonstick pan. But we really like a deep pan because with a thin pan, it just kind of spills out the edges and gets messy.
This one stays liquidy, so you can use a stainless steel pan for it. It's okay.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be nonstick, it's just easier to clean up. But I just really like the wok. It's easier. I can toss everything around. I can make a huge batch or a little batch. It's no big deal.
Now, if you've never seen this, you can get these diamond-coated woks, and we actually get these at the Asian stores around us.
Yep.
What are we setting this to?
I put it right about 8. Bring it up to a boil.
So we get the Asian stores right around us, and then what happens is you can also buy these on Amazon, actually. They have a version of them, and man, we use this thing for everything. We love our wok. We wok and roll with it all day long. See, that was a Bugs Bunny joke.
That was something.
Oh, so Lorelei is adding.
So you can use fresh onion, but I actually prefer to put fresh onion on my tacos later. And I use dried minced onion. About a 1/4 cup for this. I usually eyeball it. And it seems like a lot, but it's really not. And it just gives it a really robust oniony flavor. The dried, dehydrated stuff is just really good.
This is our version, and we've kind of played with it, and I'd say almost perfected it. You can change things as you like. If you're like, I don't like onion, but you want to use fresh.
I also
or throw
use
garlic in or whatever.
A few dashes of cilantro and a few dashes of basil. A pretty healthy amount. You can use parsley. You don't have to put this in. It doesn't matter. It's just what we like. And I have this down to a fine art. what we like. And I also add in some extra smoked paprika. It's probably like an eighth or a quarter of a teaspoon, depending on how much you like it. And I add more at the end too if it needs.
So you had paprika and smoked paprika.
Yeah, we usually, you know, up until a couple months ago, we were still using Gardines in this. And
Yeah, if you don't have a beef against the fake meats, but you know, they've been changing a lot and we don't really trust where they're going and what's in them, and they're not that super healthy anyway, but Gardines was pretty low damage.
they do, but it
Like, it
still
was just
had
pea
some,
protein.
I think it still had some seed oils in it, and
Yeah.
we're just not messing with that.
Right.
This is just a taco mix. We get the mild because we're wusses.
Yeah, if you want to bump it up and you like your stuff hot, this is where you add your heat, but we keep it on the mild, and we use what, about a half pack?
No, that's a whole pack.
Whole pack, okay. Whole pack in here. Yeah, we do use a lot because I like it flavorful. And
I
will
really
make
like
enough.
I really like the mild flavor though.
I would say, how many tacos do you think this whole thing makes? about
This one
10?
easily.
Yeah, because there's going to be 3 of us eating on it, and each of us will probably have 3 tacos. And another option we can do for this, Lorelai likes to just have taco bowls and rice.
Yeah, I just dump it on rice
Rice and salsa.
and then put a little bit of guacamole on it, which is not low fat, but it's my treat. And I am also working on a sour cream out of tofu, which is compliant.
Yeah, we are trying to work a sour cream recipe that's actually good and doesn't have any fat at all.
1 can of chickpeas, 2 cans of black beans,
Yeah, if you're really trying to lose weight, you know, avoid the...
and a can of corn, because we like a lot of corn.
if you're trying to lose weight fast, avoid the guac and just go with salsa. Salsa's a good, safe bet that's fat-free. Or like taco salsa. We also I use the cheese sauce that we make. I can link that recipe below, but practically every recipe I've been putting out lately is like, use the cheese sauce. We batch cook that stuff, so it's always on tap and easy and fast to get to. Like, we just made it.
And it's really great, especially when I
Today.
do nachos.
It's right there. It's cooling off right now. We like to let them cool before we can them. And that'll last us anywhere from 3 days to a week, depending on how many times the kid wants mac and cheese. It's a great way to make mac and cheese, by the way.
And we don't actually can. He just means jar.
Jar. I always say can, but when...
Can is a process.
All right. I've gotten lectured on that many times. And
Well, people are gonna think they have a can, and I would check out at that point. I'm
No.
not canning anything.
correct. We jar it. So this heat is medium. No, sorry, it's a little higher.
Yeah, it's like medium high.
Medium high. And how long would you say you have to stir this?
I am just stirring it because I'm used to
Once it
standing
gets
here. Once
going.
I'm standing here, I'm usually stirring. I'm just waiting for it to boil. I'll let it simmer for a little bit, probably like 15 minutes to blend the flavors in, and then we usually let it set for another 15 minutes, and we're ready to go.
Yeah, and this is one of those dishes that actually gets better the next day and the following day. The flavors marry, and man, they get so good. After like 2 days, I want this taco. It's pretty good. I mean, you definitely eat it right off while it's hot and stuff, but it's way better the next day.
It's really good the next day.
So you just have to make sure you're gonna boil all this water off, basically.
Yeah, you kind of boil it down, so there's a
Steam it
little bit
out.
of a sauce, but it's pretty
Not
thick.
much. We get done. It is delicious. And although we call these tacos, they're totally burritos too. I mean, there's really not much difference when we're doing this.
And like I said, I put them on a bowl, so
Yeah.
I put them with rice.
Different
You put them on
options.
salads.
I'll probably have this on rice tonight. But I've used this. If you want to lose weight, there's something called the greens and beans way to do it. And if you're doing your 50-50, you just use this topping hot on salad. And that'll give you a 50-50, and it's awesome. It tastes really, really good. It's like a taco salad with... You just leave the shell out, just a salad. Now, another option you can do is corn tortillas. Corn tortillas don't have fat in them usually.
1 gram of fat per.
I mean,
But
they're
it's like-
from the corn. They're not added
it's-
oil.
It's fat from the corn. There's no oil.
Compared to a flour tortilla, that'll be somewhere between 5 to 10 grams of fat.
So a regular burrito size tortilla has 8 grams of fat in it, which is more than I eat in a day. So
that's crazy.
that's not good.
And we're not so opposed to you having fat. It's fat that is not from a natural source. Like we eat oatmeal and it has a pretty good amount of fat. You know, oats just naturally have fat, but we don't add any oils. That's the big difference. And
It's just the natural fat in the food.
right. And we try to choose lower fatty stuff just because that's lower calorie, and which means I can eat more, and it does.
But we also eat a ton of potatoes and sweet potatoes that don't have any.
Don't have anything. Yeah, that's true.
And I added some garlic powder because it needs a garlic kick.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that. Garlic powder came into play.
It did.
So just like most recipes, if you're following our channel, we're pretty, and most vegans are pretty garlic and onion heavy. Because when you cut the oil out, you need to bring up the flavor in other profiles. All right, we're going to let this settle for probably 10 more minutes, and we will check it every 4 or 5 minutes to make sure it's not burning and stir it. This will burn and stick to the bottom if you just walk away completely for 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, you
gotta come in and stir. So it's boiled down now?
Yep.
Been about, this actually went a lot faster than I thought. This went about 5 minutes. So you'll just keep pushing it around to get the last bit of liquid to steam out. And then...
Usually I just turn the heat off and let it set for about 15 minutes.
And it will just kind of absorb the liquid.
And it'll cool down to a temperature you can eat.
It's pretty much ready right after that. We will set up a taco to show you how it's done, and maybe I'll show you. Guys, I'm sorry. I don't even know what to say. That cute little dog that was catching chickpeas. You guys are always like, why do you have that little buzz collar on? That probably like buzzes when she barks. That's why.
She barks all the time.
It's never gotten better. People are like, oh, she'll grow out of it. She's like 7.
She's coming on 8, I think.
All right. Well, let's get back to this. We'll show you a couple different forms, but that's it. And then you just kind of, this is a really good base. You just change it to what you like.
And flavor it with whatever you want.
Yeah.
If you like a spicier taco mix or a different taco mix, just use whatever taco mix you like. And
right, you want to throw peppers or onions in there or whatever.
That's the other thing. You can put a can of chilies in here if you wanted.
But the chickpea gives it, we're going to really recommend you leave it in. The chickpea gives it a very, it's kind of like a meat substitute. It gives it a lot of mouthfeel. And then the black bean kind of binds it all together and just adds a bunch of nutrition. Because beans are very satiating to the brain, this will help you so you don't overeat. You'll have, 3 of these and you'll be like, man, I'm stuffed. So, because you say, oh, well, 3 sounds like a lot. No, we're having really tiny taco shells. So these are like 3 sliders.
Yeah, they're very
tiny,
small.
Tiny tacos. Or you can have one monster burrito. No,
and that's what the kid will do.
Oh, one other thing, we haven't done it yet on film, and we're probably going to show it later. But we're going to teach you how to make tortillas and burritos just out of oat flour. And you can use that too. It'll soak it in, and it sounds weird. You'd be like, what, oat flour? No, you totally can do that.
Or if you're not into making your own, there are low-fat wraps.
Oh, yeah.
I have found wraps that are as low as 1.5 grams.
Yeah, I have seen those too. I think they're usually like either on the gluten-free or the paleo section or something weird, but just search around. Try to avoid ones that they put any sort of oil in.
Corn tortillas need to be, actually all tortillas should be, but corn especially will crack and break apart really easy. So you want to steam them, and what we do is we just run it under a little bit of filtered water and throw it in a plate in the microwave for a couple seconds. And that makes them pliable.
Yeah, it's a lot better. Otherwise, they'll fall apart when you try to bend them. The other thing you can do also is you can bake these put them in an air fryer around 400 for about 3 to 4 minutes. You got to really watch them because they burn fast. But if you get it just right, they turn into a hard shell. And one of the things we do is we crack them up, or I will cut them ahead of time into little triangles, and we just eat these as nachos, and they're awesome.
And I really like it. I put lime juice and a little seasoning salt on there.
And then
bake them, and they come out really good.
Yeah, so I might end up having some of these via nachos. because I forgot how good the nachos are. And remember, this whole thing is 1 gram of natural corn fat. So, you know, you can, if you really, really wanted, you could have a giant plate of tacos with probably 4 of these things, and you're at like 4 grams. You know. We try to add more vegetables in to make them more 50-50. Put some greens in and some raw onions on top and the mushrooms. It's still not quite 50-50. It's probably like 70-30. But it helps.
I don't know. I can't eat a taco without fresh. And then cheese sauce.
Yeah, and then our cheese sauce, it's always on tap. It's still warm because we just made it earlier, and that stuff stays warm for a while.
Well, and the beans are warm too.
Yeah, so there's how we do our cheese, and it is delicious. It's very good. Once you get used to this, I mean, if you're just starting and you're just giving up meat, and this really helps to just go ahead and smother it with sauce. You know, like get that moisture in there. And after a few of these, though, you're going to be like, man, I can eat these and not feel bloated, and that orange gross juice doesn't run.
The orange grease that runs down your arm, yeah. Yeah,
the orange grease that always falls out is disgusting. You don't have any of that. And you actually feel good after you eat these. You don't feel bloated and sick. Unless you have a hard time with beans, then go easy on these. Add more chickpeas and less beans. And eventually your gut adapts and you'll be able to start eating these. The other secret, we always talk about it, and we are brewing it out of these empty ones, is kombucha. Right there is our kombucha chamber getting ready to be filled. That's what all these are. We save our old bottles. And if you have a problem eating beans and onions, this fixed my gut, man. I can eat all I want now. Kombucha every day. Every day.
Every day.
Or if you're Oprah rich, you just buy them. Buy them like this. We save the bottles because they are special pressure bottles for brewing. And if you want to actually carbonate them and brew your own, you do need special bottles. You can't just stick them in mason jars. Mason jars will blow up.
Yeah.
So we put and then we're about ready to eat them.
We're all set.
All right.